Hi guys, welcome back to the Devine Witch. I am your host, the Devine Witch. Today we're going to learn how to make a banishment powder. Now, I do want to tell you, you will need a mortar and pestle. You will need salt. You will also need parchment or paper, a cauldron to burn in, and fire. So, please make sure that if you're under the age, that you're getting adult supervision. And for some of you out there who are pyros, no, don't do it. This is for protection and banishing bullshit, not setting your house on fire. So with that being said, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for all the notifications. And let's dive into how to make banishment powder. Okay guys, so we got the eggshells here. You will need eggshells, you will need salt. I will be telling you the other ingredients that you're going to need as we go along. And like I said, you're going to need this little handy dandy thing, and I'm going to show you actually how to use that. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your eggshells in there. So I'll get an eggshell and I'll show you what I mean. And you're going to put it in. Now I like to give it a little crack first. I cover my hands over it so that way you don't get much of that like craziness coming out because you are working with eggshells. Now the goal is to get it as fine as a powder. Since we are doing a banishment, we are actually going to go counterclockwise because we're trying to get rid of it, okay? So we're going to be going counterclockwise to get it out of our life instead of bringing it in our life, which we would do clockwise. So until I can get some of these chunks down, I'm going to cover it a little bit, but still kind of show you what I'm doing. Kind of get it down a little bit more because if you guys can tell, like right here, eggshell piece. So wherever you do this, just make sure to wipe it down afterwards, disinfect, vacuum, clean your linen, however you're doing it. It's up to you. It's your practice. Then, once you get it to this consistency right here, right? So it almost looks like someone shredded paper. Then you're going to press down and grind. Press down, grind. Press down, grind. Now as you do this, some pieces, like let's see if I can show you what I'm talking about. Some pieces will go up the side like that. What you're going to do is you're going to take this, push it down, okay? And then just keep on repeating the process. Now I'm going to keep on doing this to show you the exact consistency that I personally like, because I almost like it to be almost like a powder in a way, but not quite. So imagine like you were having pea-sized gravel in your hand. That's the kind of consistency that I like when I'm doing anything with eggs as far as a banishment. Now another cool thing about this is like you could grind them like this, leave it like that, and if you're doing like a witch's bottle, you can add this into your witch's bottle, because normally when you're doing a witch's bottle for protection, you want to get sharp objects and things like that, and you can do it with eggs as well if that's all you have on hand, if you don't have rusty nails, if you don't have shards of glass, things like that. But I'm going to do this just a little bit more like so. Now there's a few ways that you can store this. Me personally, I've got these old whiskey bottles that I put mine in, and each color has its own association, so I know whenever I'm getting those bottles which one has what. And when you get done making this, you'll be able to actually see what it is. So give me 1 second and I'll show you the next step. Alright, now that I'm back, I want to show you guys this. This right here is a banishment rune that I made. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to write banish negative energy all the way around, like in a circle, okay? Now, if you're doing this for a specific person, you would write their name. If you're doing it, you know, for car troubles, you can write whatever you want. But this is just basic banish negative energy. You can write it as close as you want to. You can write it as much as you want to. You just want to put in your intent. And as you do this, and as you're putting it in, you can put your hand over it. You can say a prayer. You can envision in your mind what it is. Or you can just keep on doing that in a trance-like state. So, with that being said, this is what I got, right? I'm going to cut it down because I don't need to waste that much paper. And eventually, I can use these others for more than what I got here. So then, what I will be doing with this paper, a few things. First thing that I'm going to do, since I got it here, is I'm going to get a little bit of olive oil and I'm going to rub on this sigil. And once I get it rubbed on the sigil, I'm going to be adding some stuff to it. Whatever kind of olive oil you got, you use what you can. Okay, this is what I'm using. And just enough, not like super soaking it. Just enough to coat it. Put your intent into it. Because we will be adding something onto this. And when we do, you'll see what I mean. Why I told you not to like super coat it. Because you will be burning this. And as we all know, or should know, when you're dealing with any type of oil, oil has a tendency to be flammable. No matter if it's for cooking, no matter if it's for candle making, or everything in between. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it on my sigil and rub it in. Okay. Then I'm going to wipe off my finger because, ew, right? Then we're going to bring over my cauldron or a dish. This should be fine to burn a little something in. It shouldn't hurt it. I would prefer my cauldron though, but we haven't got to that step, so don't worry about it just yet. So this is why I was telling you to wait. So a while back, I got the hankering notion that I needed to get dragon's blood. Didn't know why, but now I do. And it is what it is. Now, this is the dragon's blood that I got. You can get whatever you can. I got this one from a local shop, so it's what I'm using. Dragon's blood is good for banishment. I'm going to stick my hand in it, and I'm going to rub that all over the sigil. Because a good thing with dragon's blood as well, represents life, represents change, brings in that fire energy too. You don't have to put a lot on it, plus it smells great. Wipe it off with your hand. Then what I'm going to do is I've got 2 cups of flour here. I'm going to add my eggshells that I had, grounded up. There's going to be more in this than just this because I've got a whole pan. This is just demonstrations, right? So then I'm going to do something else. I'm going to fold this 3 times. Once, twice, 3. Because we're going to banish them at the crossroads, right? Symbolism. So then you take your lighter, remember to be safe, and set it on fire. And then drop and let it do its thing. And as it's doing that, you're going to take your hands and you're going to cup it and put in your mind what you're wanting it to do. To banish that negativity or whatever it is that you're bringing in to banish. It can be a person, it can be energy, it can be an entity, whatever it is. You're going to put that energy into it. And as your energy goes into it, you're going to get some interesting effects with the flames. Not just because of the oil and the dragon's blood. Plus, the great thing about this as well, which I love, is it smells amazing because of the dragon's blood. And if you've done anything with egg powder before, you'll know that it kind of smells gross. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this do its thing and kind of just smolder. Let that smoke kind of go around. Keep feeding the energy into it. Raising it up. And taking it away. And if you're trying to work with the element of air, this is a great time to do so. Because we all know that incense represents the air. And you can have fun with the smoke and energy play and all of that. So I'm going to put this off to the side while it still does its thing. And it's got my energy in it, and we're going to move it off to the side. So this is what it looks like as of right now, okay? So there's a few things that you can do. First off, be smart. Put the lid on your olive oil because that's the last thing you need in this, or you're going to make some really fucked up shit. Okay? It's not going to be what you want, and then you're going to start from ground zero. So the next thing that we're going to add into this that I like to personally add is lavender. Now, it's customary to hang lavender over certain doors to banish negative energy and things like that. Another thing with lavender is psychic awareness. So if you're getting negative energy from spirits, then you're going to become aware of it and then it'll be handled. Plus, the scent of lavender is a very good smell. So I put about a couple pinches in there. Now, if you wanted to, somewhere around here in this house, I actually got little wooden spoons that I use. But sometimes it's good just to use your hands and fill it in there. Now, here's where the salt comes in, okay? We know that salt is pure and it can be used to make holy water and all different kind of things. Don't get worried about it if you're using iodized. First off, the reason there's iodized salt is because back in the day, at least here in America, there was a thing called the goiter belt, which is where people would get goiters in their throat, and it was because of low iodize in their system. So they started adding it to salt because salt was something that everybody uses. It is natural. It is okay. Don't worry about it. And the great thing about this is you're not going to be eating it. You're going to be using it for protection. So you're just going to dump that all up in there. Now, I would say use about 1/4 of a container to about 1/3 of a container when doing your salt. Okay? And when you do this, if you do it for yourself, this will last forever. And also, the salt will act as a purifier, so that way you don't get anything gross in this. Now, I do suggest only doing a year at a time batches. or if you're doing it for monetized reasons, whatever, do you. So, with that being said, even though we did add some on the sigil, I also like to add a little bit of dragon's blood into it. It gives it a little bit of a fun color. Plus, it adds a little bit of extra oomph. You know what I mean? Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir this together if someone finds me a little wooden spoon. Just so, because it looks cute, and I made a few spoons here recently. So, like, I'm excited to use them, you know what I mean? I think that we put them in the actual little box over there. So, while you're waiting, you can stir. You can shake stir, as they call it, in a counterclockwise method. See how you're getting that pretty little color too? Thank you. That'll work. So we're going to take that and we're going to mix it all up. This is my little spoon. Isn't it cute? It's almost like, it feels like we're making a cake, but we're not. Now the great thing about this too is before you add your ashes into this, you can also put your symbol into it again. So while you're mixing it, and you can think about that. Now I always say stir counterclockwise to banish it. You mess up sometimes and you end up doing clockwise like I did, just see it as you're wakening up what you're putting into it. That's how I like to see it. Now, I would advise, for the love of God, label your stuff or have a system. Let everybody know the system. Because could you imagine, and you know what'll happen if you don't label it right, someone be stupid and be like, oh my God, mom went ahead or dad went ahead or auntie or uncle or cousin, they make their own pancake batter. Oh my God, could you imagine? It'd be the worst, but it'd be fucking hilarious. And it'd be funny if it happened to someone you wanted to banish. Just saying. So, label properly. And at that point, they're on their own. Now, when it comes to me, I like to add a little heat to my stuff. So I add crushed red pepper. This kind of adds the kick to burn it away, right? I like to add a lot. Now, I will tell you this too. If you were to work this in such a way, I'm not going to tell you how because that's for another video, but you could actually work this to make a hexing powder. But that's for another video though, my dears. You got them cracked up? Crack them, crack them. Keep going. Got my daughter employed. She's helping out. Okay, so there's that. Now, see this? That little thing that we got there? See what I like to do is I like to crunch it up just to make sure that it all burned. See what I'm talking about? Didn't all burn? You want to make sure it all burns. That's why it's important. It's part of the process. Now be careful. Don't burn yourself. It's always fun to play with fire, ain't it? That's why I gave the pyro warning. Because occasionally I like to play with fire. I think it's a witch thing. Or it just may be a me thing. I don't know. You comment below and tell me if you got a little bit of pyro in you. And the sad thing is I'm a water sign. I love it.
I love fire.
Well, yeah, you're a Leo. It's expected. The child is like, oh, I love fire. So since we had to relight that, we're going to let that cool off a little bit more because last thing you want to do is try to cook some flour and what you got in here. You ain't wanting that. You want it to be cool. So off to the side, I've got her grinding some eggshells. So I'm going to pause this, and once this is done smoldering and I got all the eggshells in here, then we'll get to the next fun part. Alright, now that we have that done, we actually had enough time to just grind them all up, as you guys can see. Now, with that being said, I'm going to add a few more things. So first off, you want to spread these powdery ashes. Then, you definitely, with this one, now this is a master's incense. This is for me to add my dominance to it. So, 1 heaping spoonful per batch. You can make your own, you can buy it, it's up to you on what you want to do. Now, before I go to mix this, I'm going to add the last batch of eggshells to it on top. Then, here's where the fun part is. This gets set off to the side once again, because this is a multi-step process. Okay. Now, normally, you could do this 2 ways. Let it burn, add it with the ash, get the smell, whatever. Me personally, I don't have that kind of patience. So, what I like to do is try to pull off the incense itself. Now, you don't have to do this, but I prefer to do this. This incense is a frankincense and myrrh, which gives you that extra protection. See what I'm talking about, where I'm scraping it actually off? Now, this is in case you don't have the actual incense. Now, if you have the incense at your home or can get a hold of it, go for it, because then you don't have to go through this hassle. Me, I have a bunch of these incense sticks, so I'm just going to go ahead and use this. Now, the great thing about this is you can use this in spells, and when you do it in spells, you know, with what we're making over here, then guess what else you can do? You can burn it, because there's enough interesting things in this, and that's all we need. So you can take this, you can throw it in a fire, whatever, throw it away, do you. Alright, now that that's done, and my hands smell like frankincense and myrrh, I don't have to grind it because it's already grinded. So I'm going to add that into there as well. Okay, so now guess what we're going to do? We're going to mix it all in. You have to remind yourself counterclockwise. I will let you guys know this is powerful shit. It is not for the faint of heart. A little bit goes a long way. If you're trying to banish things from your home, like to keep certain people or energies away, do a little sprinkle at the 4 corners. That's it. That's all you need to do. Now, if you do plan to use this for fire only, tell you another thing you can do, because it makes it look cool as shit when you're doing a ritual. Go out and get some of those colored flame packets, open it up, and put it in. And just mix it all about. Or put a little bit into each of the little pouches, bottles, whatever. So that way when you get it out, it's like it gets this beautiful flame of whatever color that you want to associate it with, and it's fucking beautiful. But I do not suggest doing that if you're going to put it on a candle. Now you're probably asking, how the fuck do I put this on a candle? I will show you. Candle, please.
What color?
If we got black, do black. If we don't got black, do we got white? That works. Alright, I'm going to need that pan down there. So this is like a tutorial and everything. I'm showing you guys how to do some shit. Now, this is my black candle, for it is mine. So, when you do your candle, okay, and you go to roll it and put stuff in it, this is a process. You can't just roll it and light it. You got to let it set for a minute. And this is one of those ones, the way that I'm doing it right here on this video, not live, is you have to fucking watch it. I would recommend, preferably this method, doing it outside. But do you, and I am not responsible for anything that you do if you're not a responsible candle lighting person. So keep that in mind. You'll find out why I'm going to say this. So, what I like to do, once again, like I told you guys, oil. I like oil. So, there's a reason. Very lightly, okay? See what I'm doing here? Just enough for my finger, okay? That's as much as you need. Nothing more, nothing less. And just rub it on your candle. Rub it away, okay? Now, you can put somebody's name if you want to, situation if you want to, or whatever. Okay, so once that's all done and you're good, then you can either take a little bit, which is probably the best option. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a little bit. I'm going to roll it out, okay, into this candle. Just a little bit. Okay. Smoothie, smoothie, smoothie. And put that back. Then you're going to roll it onto your candle. Do we have another black candle over there too?
We should.
Okay. So, once you do that, it doesn't have to be too crazy, you know what I mean? And you got it looking kind of like this, right? Just kind of keep rolling it. Get as much as you can onto it. Now we're going to seal it in, okay? So when we're sealing something in, I'm going to move this to the side. Hopefully this stays put. Yay, it just stayed put. The next thing you're going to do, like I said, we're going to seal it in. I'm going to try to move this closer so you guys can see this part. And we're going to move this because it is plastic and we're going to be playing with fire. So, I'm going to put that right there. I'm going to close up my oil. And I've got my other candle. Now this is going to be my sealing candle. What is a sealing candle? Well, a sealing candle is a candle that you use to seal your herbs and stuff in. So I've already done this one. You can see what it looks like. It's all up in there. Didn't take much for me to do. But, oh no. No. Eventually you might have that. It'll be okay. Okay. It's nice and steady. We're just going to lay it down, which it'll be fine. Okay. So it's all in there. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Always trim your wicks, kids. Even if it's something that you bought at the store, always trim your wicks. It's on the little sticker at the bottom of your candles, mostly. 9 times out of 10. So then what we're going to do is we're going to relight our candle. And we're going to drip that wax on top of it. Now, this is a process. If you're a candle maker, you can actually dip it into wax if you want to. But this is my preferred method of doing it. So that way I can focus and concentrate, visualize in my mind what I want for it to do. Now, I do suggest, when it comes to the bottom of the candle, don't try to get as much wax on that, or you'll have to take like a nail file and kind of just fix it, or take yourself, what else could you use? You could use a knife and stuff like that. And you're going to want to try to seal this as much as you possibly can. So you're going to have to rotate it and all that fun yards. Now you can also put this around a candle, but me personally, I'd rather roll it on a candle. And with this added wax that we're adding to it on top as well, it'll make it somewhat a little bit more fire friendly, so to speak. Because we only used enough oil just to get the stuff onto the candle. So I'm going to let that cool for a second. Try to do some of the sides, you know. And remember, you can rotate this. It doesn't have to look pretty. As long as it's effective, who cares what it looks like. Now, if you wanted to add it for like a certain person, you could add their color too as well. Like a color that they like or that they've been associated with. If you have their hair as you're rolling it, you can add their hair into it as well. If you're just looking to banish a person. Now, if you guys don't want to go through this whole process and you're like, I'd rather not just do this myself, I will try to have some of this on my Etsy page, which I might mention before this video comes out. Or if you want me to do it, I can do it. Okay, so for the most part, that wax is dry. Now we're going to do the bottom part of it and seal it. And that's a good way, like a different way to like cleanse the energy in your home, you know what I mean? Since I did the banishment of energies, like just negative energies, you know what I mean? Because, you know, with home life, work life, spiritual life, whatever it may be, it just builds up over time. So things like this are good to do instead of having to pull out the smudge stick and do all that. And then, you know, if it's one of those things where like you're doing this against a person, make a whole fucking day out of it. Get you a nice bottle of wine, get you some music going. Doesn't have to be ritualistic music. It can be whatever your heart desires. You know what I mean? Make fun with it. I'm going to try to even this out a little bit. Now, I think I might actually have the candles I put on there and the actual powder. So if you want to do it at home or you just want to light a candle and do it, like I said, I do recommend that you guys keep an eye on it as you would with any other candle that you're using. I love the way that this looks too. It looks wicked. Okay. And kind of just swirl it around. And whenever you burn these, if you put them on a holder, use a holder that's got some good depth to it. Just for a reason being that you got the extra wax that's going to be on here. So, just so you know. If you guys do this method or if you ever get it from me. It's a very beautiful process. And if you want to put certain energies, by the way, my dog's probably going to growl and stuff like that. Because she's in the cage and she's not happy about it. Pika, baby, give it a minute. I'm almost done, baby. Alright, and when you get to this point to where you're almost done with it, you can shake your candle, blow it out, do whatever. Let the smoke of it, because it is a black candle. So it does got cleansing energies to it. And then this is your finished product. And it looks so badass, doesn't it? So yeah, this is how you make the banishment powder and candles as well. So if I do end up putting these on the Etsy shop, more than likely it'll probably be like 10 bucks a candle. Just for the time that I put into it. It's not a big candle, but it is an effective candle. Plus there's shipping, so you're probably going to be looking about like 15 bucks per candle. Or you can make it yourself. It's your choice. So thank you guys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. What are some of the things that you would like to see on this channel? And until next time, remember, no two witches witch alike.